guys, so as promised, part 2 of looking at my GameCube games. We got about halfway through last time, so to make sure I don't run out of time again, we're gonna get right into it. So first one here is Tetris Worlds. My wife loves Tetris, so picked this up basically just so she would have Tetris for the GameCube when it was our, marquee system. It's pretty fun if you like Tetris. Nothing weird. It's basically the classic Tetris plus a couple variations, and you can have up to 4 people playing all at once. So, if you like Tetris, it's a good pickup. And plus I figure this game, if you found it now, would probably be pretty much on the cheap side. So this next one I picked up when I first started watching UFC pretty regularly, and at the time this was an older game. I picked it up secondhand. It says used here, and this was like the only UFC game at the time that was available. I'm assuming that they had versions for the PlayStation, but this was before the Xbox 360 games, when UFC got a little bit bigger. So it's funny to see who's included. Like I can see they have Dan Severn on the box, Evan Tanner, Chuck Liddell, and Tito Ortiz is on the front. Tito's like 50 now. The game was not too good. It was pretty hard, honestly, to do anything. If somebody took you down, basically you just lost, because the controls to fight off your back were pretty much impossible. If you played the Xbox 360 UFC games before EA got the license, those are really good. I highly suggest those. After EA got the license, though, they kind of went crappy. So this is Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. This was actually my in-laws. It came with their GameCube because they bought one at one point. It's not really that interesting. You can hook up your Game Boy Advance, I guess, to bring in your Pokemon, but otherwise it's like you can only catch Pokemon in certain spots where you lay out a trap. It's not really the Pokemon experience that you get on the GameCube or the Game Boy. So, like, my daughters play that a little bit, but it's a little too, like, it's not as straightforward as regular Pokemon, and it's just a little weird. So this one is Marvel Nemesis, Rise of the Imperfects. This is a Marvel fighting game, which at the time was like really, I loved this game when it came out. Basically you had Marvel characters like Wolverine and SpiderMan and Iron Man, and then you had these kind of game created characters for them to fight against. And if you fight through the campaign, it's basically a whole bunch of like single one-on-one fights, and there's some like levels where you're running around and fighting, little characters here and there, but it's mostly one-on-one, and it's the way it's laid out, it's like a 3D fighter, almost like a Tekken, and the environments are, you can pick up like dragons trash cans and cars and stuff and throw them at people. So, and you can destroy the environments, hit people into walls and stuff. So, they have Magneto in the game, Venom, Thing, Elektra. It's pretty fun. My daughter just, she asks me every now and then if there's games that she can play, because she's getting older to where some of these games that initially she couldn't work the controls, now she's better at that. So, like, we played a few rounds of this, and I was beating her. She was getting a little annoyed that I was doing so well, but she seemed to enjoy it. So, this is Mario Golf Toadstool Tour. I might have her try this one again, though, golf in general for kids is probably a little boring. It's basically just golf on a golf course with Mario stuff. Nothing too crazy. You set up your putts the same way you would on any regular golf game. So, it's enjoyable here and there, but nothing I would play for hours on end, that's for sure. This is Extreme G Racing. There was an Extreme G on the N64. This is Extreme G3. I can't remember if the one I played on N64 was number 1 or number 2, but basically in this game you're racing these little, almost like Tron bikes, and they have weapons on them and boosts, and the racetracks are really interesting. This game it's okay. The one on the N64 was a million times better. I would suggest that one to anybody. This one, while the graphics are faster, it's just not, the play experience is not as enjoyable. Everybody's favorite Super Monkey Ball. This is great for basically anything. It's really more of a party game, if you ask me, because they have monkey bowling and monkey billiards. My daughter loves Monkey Target, where you can kind of fly over these targets on the water and try to land your monkey on them. Just a fun overall game, especially if you have kids. And monkey bowling is super fun. The billiards is fun. It's, to me, it's more like a everybody can play type of game. FZero GX. I've played a little bit of this, but I was never a big F-Zero fan on the SNES. So I've played a little bit of this. One of the things that sucks is this. It says 30 pilots here. That's only as you unlock them, and if you don't do well in the one player with like the 5 starting pilots, then, or maybe even, I think it might just be this 4, you never see those other cars and pilots. I, for one, am not good at this game, and I find the racetracks to be a little, they're not forgiving. So I've only got these opening racers, and so it's a bit of a bore, quite honestly. Like every other male American, I have versions of Madden. I have 05 and 07. I think 07's the one that I played the most. I was and am a Peyton Manning fan, so, this was Peyton Manning at the height of his play with the Colts, and, all the players that I liked were on the team for this year. So the 05 and 07 versions are the ones that I would play the most. After that, eventually he got injured and then went to the Broncos and then retired. So I hold on to those because that's basically the only place you can play that roster. This one is Namco Museum 50th Anniversary Edition. It's got 14 classic arcade hits. A lot of them are kind of repeats. So you'll have like pole position 1, 2, 3 and stuff like that. We do like some of the games on here. Oh yes, it says Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man, Galaga and Galaxian, pole position and pole position 2. So some of these are just like, why would you need both? Dragon Spirit is fun on here. It's like one of those over-the-top games where you're basically just flying and shooting at characters and stuff on the ground. We enjoy that one. And also this one, I think it's a Rolling Thunder. I want to say it's like a shooting game, and there's not too much to it. You can duck and you can shoot and you can jump up to these higher levels if need be. But for a game from probably 1983, it's pretty entertaining and fun to play through. This is Batman Begins from EA Games. Not it's not Arkham Asylum, but it was entertaining for the time. When the movie came out, this was all we really got. Arkham Asylum and those games were years out, and I own Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. I never got to play them because I let my cousin borrow Arkham Asylum, and one day I came over and she was on the final boss and she couldn't beat him, so she's like, here, and she handed me the controller, and I beat the final Joker, and then it felt kind of silly because it was I hadn't played almost any of the game, and here I was beating the final boss and seeing the end credits, so it kind of took my drive to play the game out. I picked it up ages later and tried to play through it, but I got to a certain point where I just kind of I don't remember if I was stuck or just uninterested, but that was it for me, unfortunately. And she played through Arkham City. I never even got around to trying that one. And I have whatever that newest Arkham game was, the final one. I have that for the Xbox One, but I've never even gotten around to installing it. With the installation on games these days, everything fills up so fast that you have to be careful about what you install. I have like 5 or 6 games installed right now, and I'm at like 70% of my hard drive space, and of the games I play, I keep them on there, and then there's 1 or 2 that I keep on there simply because I know the file size is huge, and if I feel like coming back to it, having to reinstall would probably be a real big pain in the neck, so I kind of keep those on there. So when I get a new game for like Christmas, and it's kind of rare, but people get them for me even though I don't ask for them, I won't install it unless I really think I'm going to play it right then and there. So this is SpiderMan, the original SpiderMan movie game. This one is the one where you're always in the air. I think you can land it's not like SpiderMan 2, where it was the whole city and you could, walk around on the city streets and look for thugs. This first Spider-Man game was, where you're mostly in the air, swinging, or maybe at a set piece, but the levels were very, this is what you're doing, and I liked this a lot more. I played the Spider-Man 2 game where you have the whole city, and I want to say Ultimate Spider-Man was like that too, but, in between the main missions, you had to just run around fighting the same freaking burglar 50 times, or, getting some lady's purse, and, I noticed the time that was like the first game that did that. It was like, oh, you get to roam the world, and it's like, well, that's great, but if the world's like incredibly repetitive and boring, then who cares, Last but not least, this is XMen Legends. This one is kind of like a precursor to Marvel Ultimate Alliance. So, that kind of over-the-top three-quarter view gameplay where you have a squad of heroes. You could have up to 4 people at a time, or just one person in control of the squad. And the story was great. Playing through the levels and, the different characters, X-Men characters you can get was great. I really loved this game. They did make an XMen Legends 2, which was based on like Apocalypse. That one I played through, I want to say, probably about 80% of the way. I got to a point where I just couldn't get past it, and it wasn't as good as this one, so when I pared everything down, I kept this original Legends game and let the other one go. I might actually try, it says Trevor X-Men Action RPG. I might let my daughter try this one with me playing along, because then she, if she was messing up, I could kind of help her on that. But that's it for the GameCube games, guys. Let me know if you are interested in the Xbox 360 or my Xbox One games. I have quite a few 360 games and a smaller collection of Xbox One. Like I said, I don't want to install everything. But not as nostalgic for those, obviously, because they're pretty recent. But